Ukraine does not need security guarantees from Russia, it needs protection from the aggressor, the president of Ukraine has said. When the terms of the peace agreement are discussed, then it will be possible to talk about what the Russian Federation owes to Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky emphasized. In the meantime, Kyiv needs quick decisions, in particular regarding security guarantees, and they depend only on the partners of Kyiv, the member states of NATO.
Our army is millions of millions. The financing for this army, the armor for this army, the anti-aircraft warfare, total air defense, a defense that neither the Russians nor the Europeans have, the defense that the Americans, President Trump, have exclusively. The protection of anti-aircraft warfare is exclusively from them, and that's what's important. And the contingent from those countries who are able for some time, I do not know, for some time to stand in our cities, on our cordons, on the contact lines.
United States Special Envoy for Ukraine and Russia Kit Kellogg has repeatedly stated the need to provide Kyiv with reliable security guarantees. One of the goals of his visit to Ukraine is to hear the arguments of the Ukrainian side and to convey information to the President of the United States.
We understand the need for security guarantees. We very that's the sovereignty of this nation and the defense of this nation as well. And we're going to, part of my mission is to sit and listen and say, okay, what are your concerns? What are you asking? We can go back to the United States, talk to President Trump, and with Secretary Rubio and the rest of the team, and just ensure that we get this one right.
Russia continues to use information manipulation and seeks to sow discord among our country's partners. Therefore, it is important to adhere to the principle of nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine, which remains key in all international negotiations. From a publication on the website of the Office of the President of Ukraine,
Europe is ready to provide Ukraine with security guarantees even if the United States falls to the same, the President of the European Parliament, Roberta Metsola, has said. The European Union has already mobilized 48.5 billion euros in military aid to Kyiv and continues to strengthen Ukraine's defense capabilities. Metsola noted that the situation requires constant review and Brussels is ready to expand security guarantees for Kyiv.
So we have been delivering, but we must, of course, assess and be ready to step in with all the necessary security guarantees to ensure lasting peace. Roberta Metsola, President of the European Parliament, in an interview with Ukrainian media.
Russia's war against Ukraine should not end on conditions that would allow the Russian Federation to further destabilize Europe, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Canada, Melanie Joly, has said. Canada stands ready to assist Ukraine in ensuring a lasting and sustainable peace.
We've had conversations with European allies at the EU. I've had conversations also in France. I've met with many European colleagues, and we've said we want to be part of these conversations regarding security guarantees. We want to be part of conversations linked to more Canadians being involved in protecting Ukraine.
One such security guarantee for Ukraine could be a peacekeeping mission that would include servicemen from Kyiv's partners countries. European leaders are actively discussing the possible mandate for this mission. Washington supports the idea of placing European peacekeepers on Ukrainian territory.
if the Europeans want to do it, that's fine. I'm totally in favor of it. If they want to do it, I think that would be great. I know France has mentioned it, others have mentioned it, UK has mentioned it. If we have a peace agreement, I think from Europe's point of view, we won't have to put troops there because, we're very far away. But having troops there would be fine. I wouldn't object to that at all.
The EU and the UK may send up to 30,000 peacekeepers to Ukraine, the Washington Post has estimated. According to the publication sources, Kyiv's partners are now ready to provide several brigades for potential deployment in Ukraine. At the same time, the peacekeepers are not expected to be on the line of contact. They should be ready for a show of force if Russian forces try to resume the war against Ukraine. Reported by Alexandra Zaslavets, Victoria Smirnova, UATV News. EU countries have agreed on a new 16th package of sanctions against Russia. Another 13 Russian banks will be disconnected from the international payment system SWIFT. 8 media companies of the aggressor country will lose their license to operate in the EU, President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen said.
I welcome the agreement on our 16th package of sanctions. The EU is clamping down even harder on circumvention by targeting more vessels in Putin's shadow fleet and imposing new import and export bans. we are committed to keep up the pressure on the Kremlin. Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission on X social network.
The new restrictions on Russia's shadow fleet will imply the possibility of penalizing ship campaigns and owners. If they are sanctioned, they will not be able to enter the EU and their assets will be frozen. In addition, Brussels will add 73 more tankers to the sanctions list. They will be banned from entering EU ports and harbors, and outside companies will be prohibited from providing any services to such vessels. Russia's shadow fleet is a potential threat to the security of the European Union, the European Parliament believes.
Russia's shadow fleet, which consists of a growing number of aging and poorly maintained vessels that operate with minimal regard to the regulations, can cause oil spills in sensitive ecosystems such as the Baltic Sea. Added to this is the lack of insurance for these vessels and the lack of transparency of their owners and the flags they fly, which makes monitoring and regulation very difficult. It is clear to me that Russia can use the risk of pollution as leverage against Europe, which could have dire consequences. Engin Eroglu, member of the European Parliament, in a comment to the Guildhall publication,
as well as further tightening restrictions on Russia's oil exports, the EU 16th package of sanctions targets the Russian metals industry. It includes a ban on imports of primary aluminium from the Russian Federation.
The aluminium issue is quite hot. Why? Because it is the production of aircraft, the production of a number of devices at once. Aluminium is one of the most attractive materials used in a variety of areas, from mechanical engineering to the gadgets we all use.
The aluminium import ban will be implemented in phases over a year from the date the package is officially passed.
We are talking about introducing a so-called phased restriction on aluminium imports, and this will really require European and not only European market players to somehow reconsider their production chains, to reconsider their logistics chains.
As part of the 16th package of sanctions, the European Union will not impose a complete ban on purchases of Russian liquid natural gas. Instead, the supply of Russian liquid natural gas to terminals that are not connected to the European Union's common gas distribution system will be halted. That is, the restriction will affect only a portion of imports. The Minister of Energy of Lithuania, Žygimantas Vaikūnas, expressed regret that the new sanctions will not affect all Russian liquid gas on the European market. After all, the European Union purchased more than 6 billion euros worth of liquid natural gas from Russia in 2024, and that's 18% more than in 2023.
However, as European Union gas demand was flat last year, more work is needed to diversify energy supplies and reduce Europe's exposure to liquefied natural gas market volatility. Anna Maria Jaller-Makarovich, the lead energy analyst for the American Institute for Energy Economics and Financial Analysis on X social network.
Video game equipment will now also be banned. Russia uses it to control drones.
We are really looking into, all types of things that really help Russia to wage this war, to put them on sanctions list. I mean, even elements like, the consoles for the video games, because apparently these are the ones that they operate the drones with. So really being, creative or chemicals regarding chemicals that are needed for the Russian military industry.
Advisor and Presidential Commissioner for Sanctions Policy Vladislav Vlasyuk has said that the 16th package of European Union sanctions against Russia is expected to be approved in the coming days. The new restrictions are to come into force on 24th February 2025, the third anniversary of the start of the Russian full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Reported by Alexandra Zaslavets, Valeria Nikipelova, UATV News.